Today is September 11th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are going to read the second paragraph of page 60. I believe it's on page 60. It might be. Let me double check right now. You'd think I would do this before I hit the record button. No, I apologize. It's the second paragraph on page 61 of chapter 5, How It Works. And out of the 12 and 12, we are going to continue our journey through step 3 by reading page 86. And we'll be reading today's daily reflection and 24 hours a day. So with that, my friends, hope you're all doing well. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. Clean slate. You know, yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not even a thing right now. It's just today, this window right here of opportunity that we have to right our wrongs. If we're still drinking, maybe to choose to want to be sober today, to get the support you need, to live life in the fullest right here, right now. One of my favorite movies of all time, Dead Poets Society. I heard the Latin phrase carpe diem. Well, I can't think of a better way to seize the day than to live a sober life. One moment at a time. Well, my friends, with all that rambling aside, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So in the last couple of days, we have read the entirety of the steps in How It Works on pages 58 and 59. And now we're talking about step 3. Yesterday we said, being convinced we were at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and life over to the care of God as we understood Him. But just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do? So we've been using this metaphor of this actor who wants to run the entire show. And, he might be virtuous, but he also might be egotistical and selfish and dishonest. But either way, it's not really working out for him, trying to control everything. And we're going to build on that thought on 61. What usually happens? The show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think that life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. He becomes, on the next occasion, still more demanding or gracious, as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault, he's sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self-pitying. What is his basic trouble? Is he not really a self-seeker even when trying to be kind? Is he not a victim of the delusion that he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if he only manages well? It is not evident to all the rest of the players that these are the things that he wants? And do not his actions make each of them wish to retaliate, snatching all they can get out of the show? Is he not, even in his best moments, a producer of confusion rather than harmony? Out of the 12 and 12 run, step 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. We're on page 86. And I love the last line from yesterday. We needn't wallow in excessive remorse before those we have harmed. But amends at this level should always be forthright and generous. There's a line in the big book, we crawl before no one. We do our part and we walk away. We make those amends and we try to live it. But we don't have to keep rehashing and beating ourselves up over the stuff we've done in the past. Trust me when I say the reason I'm stopping this day is I've done that. So page 86. There can be only one consideration which should qualify our desire for a complete disclosure of the damage that we've done. That will arise in the occasional situation where to make a full revelation would seriously harm the one to whom we're making the amends. Or, quite as important, other people. We cannot, for example, unload a detailed account of an extramarital adventuring upon the shoulder of an unsuspecting wife or husband. And even in those cases where such a matter must be discussed, let's try to avoid harming third parties, whoever they may be. It does not lighten our burden when we recklessly make the crosses of others heavier. Many a razor-edged question can arise in other departments of life where the same principle is involved. Suppose, for instance, that when we have drunk up a good chunk of our firm's money, whether by borrowing or on a heavily padded expense account, suppose that this may continue to go undetected if we say nothing. Do we instantly confess our irregularities to the firm in the practical certainty that we will be fired and become unemployable? Are we going to be so rigidly righteous about making amends that we don't care what happens to family and home? Or do we first consult those who are to be gravely affected? Do we lay the matter before our sponsor or spiritual advisor, earnestly asking God's help and guidance, meanwhile resolving to do the right thing when it comes clear, cost what it may? Of course, there is no pat answer which can fit all such dilemmas, but all of them do require a complete willingness to make amends as fast and as far as may be possible in a given set of conditions. Above all, we should try to be absolutely sure that we are not delaying because we are afraid. For the readiness to take the full consequences of our past acts and to take responsibility for the well-being of others at the same time is the very spirit of Step 9. Okay, I read you an extra page there, free of charge. There you go. Daily Reflection, Step 11. Making Amends. Above all, we should try to be absolutely sure that we are not delaying because we are afraid. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 87. To have courage, to be unafraid, are gifts of my recovery. They empower me to ask for help and to go forth in making my amends with a sense of dignity and humility. Making amends may require a certain amount of honesty that I feel I lack. Yet with the help of God and the wisdom of others, I can reach within and find great strength to act. My amends may be accepted or they may not. But after they are completed, I can walk away with a sense of freedom and know that for today, I am responsible. 24 hours a day, September 11th. AA Thought for the Day. Continuing the answers to the question of how a person can live without liquor and be happy, we say, you will be bound to other AAs with new and wonderful ties. For you and they will escape disaster together, and all will commence shoulder to shoulder the common journey to a better and more satisfactory life. You will know what it means to give of yourself that others may survive and rediscover life. You will become happy, respected, and useful once more. Since these things have happened to us, they can happen to you. Have these things happened to me? Meditation for the day. God manifests himself in human lives as strength to overcome evil and power to resist temptation. The grace of God is the power that enables a human being to change from a disconnected, hopeless individual to a connected, hopeful, and grateful person. God also manifests himself as love for other people, compassion for their problems, and a real willingness to help them. The grace of God also manifests itself as peace of mind and serenity of character. We can have plenty of power, love, and serenity in our lives if we're willing to ask God for these things each day. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may see God's grace in strength that I receive, the love that I know, the peace that I have. I pray that I may be grateful for the things I have received through the grace of God. Oh man, some great reading. Holy jeez. It's funny, I didn't plan this, but we happen to be wrapping up step 9. And sure enough, that's what we're talking about in the daily reflection today. Living a life that's no longer a life of fear, but a life of courage and peace and gratitude. And then to tie it to the 24 hours a day, I pray that I may be grateful for the things I've received through the grace of God. One of the greatest things I've received, obviously, in sobriety is peace. Being okay with me, self-acceptance. And I think a lot of that was gained over time by, obviously doing step 9 to the best of my ability. I love that they really make the distinction. Hey, look, I know you want to clear your conscience. I know you want to right your wrongs, but also keep in mind other people might be involved. And don't try to lighten your burden by making other people's crosses heavier. I always recommend talking to a spiritual advisor or a sponsor before you make these direct amends, just to make sure that you're not just doing it for yourself while destroying other people's lives in the process. But anyway, going back to my point, by doing step 9 and by doing all the steps, it's slowly teaching me how to live a life of humility and integrity. And if I do the right things, guess what? I feel better about myself. But it's not a pat on my own back. It's a pat on God's back. Because it's all the grace of God. As I've said a million times, I've tried quitting on my own so many times and I couldn't. It wasn't until I surrendered to the God of my understanding and turned my will and my life over to Him. And it's one day at a time. It's a daily reprieve contingent upon the maintenance of my spiritual condition. And He steps in. I just do these steps to the best of my ability. And He steps in. And it's almost like He holds my hand, lifts me back up, and He says, "Don't worry. I've got this." Man, the things I've gained in sobriety. But the biggest thing, I didn't realize how much fearful I used to be until I started working the steps and finding the root causes of why I did a lot of things that I did. But to be on the other side of that, to live a life that's not rooted in fear, oh man, that feels like freedom. I'm free today, and I hope that you are as well. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect, denomination. I'm just a drunk, trying to live one day at a time. And I'm really grateful that you're here in this lifeboat of recovery with me. If we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.